Carlos Pena. I'm a senior loan officer from Accion Chicago. My background's in finance and economics, originally from Ecuador. I work in entrepreneurship, both in the traditional, but also with tech startups as a mentor and coach. And prior to my nonprofit days, I was a corporate man doing valuation for large entities. So what we'll focus on today is, unique value proposition. I have a few examples here. And different entities or different individuals define it differently. You can read those. I'm not going to read those for you. To me, my understanding of a unique value proposition is a statement that clearly summarizes your offering, who your product is meant to target, and also what differentiates you from the market. It could be that you offer, in any marketplace, there's very similar products. A product may offer more of A or more of B. It could be cheaper, it could be more expensive. The important thing is to understand the product market fit. Where do you fit within your marketplace? And once you understand that, who is your consumer? So those are two touch points that are very important to understand. Your competition, and then who is your ideal consumer. So a few examples here. Small business accounting software designed for you, the non-accountant. So in this one, what I like is that it defines who is the person that the service is targeted for, the non-accountant. And you make a direct connection with the person that's using it. So I feel like for people that don't have an accounting background or are business owners, this really resonates with them. And then the other one is just the product and the target. The second one, I'm guessing most of us have heard about Dollar Shave Club. A great shave for a few bucks a month. Your unique value proposition doesn't have to be formal. It could be very informal. It could be short. It could be a few words. You don't want to make it more than a sentence, definitely. The most important thing is that it resonates with your consumer. And that springs from you understanding who your consumer is. Who your consumer is, what is their income level, what I like to call, what is their pain point? What is the problem or issue that you're helping them solve, or the job or task that you're helping them accomplish. Page 2, we help the world's biggest brands scale and secure WordPress. In this one, it's pretty much they're very unique, targeted for very large brands. And then other similar ones. Again, the importance about these is that they touch upon their consumer. They know who that is, and they know what the consumer needs. For example, sometimes saying the best websites, it's very generic. It doesn't resonate with whoever needs your product and service. But for example, send better email, MailChimp. I included that one there because that one sounds kind of generic, but it's very simple. It's for podcasts, and that's kind of they know who their target is, and they have a more elaborate marketing scheme that allows them to connect with them effectively. So why should you have a unique value proposition? The main one and the most important one is to engage your consumers and deliver your message. Handing them a business plan, handing a link to your website. It's very unlikely that that all the people that you send them to, your newsletter, it's unlikely that they'll go through it all, just realistically. But if you have it's more than a catchphrase. It's more than a slogan. Again, it summarizes who you are, what you believe in, and how you deliver that product. So the first one, to connect with the consumer. That's the most important thing. We'll do a couple of exercises later. Both of them, the main thing is understanding who your consumer is. Explain your business models to investors in a concise way. Of course, you can do a 3, 5 minute, 10-minute pitch presentation to an investor, but if you don't capture their attention right away, and I know this because I coach a lot of entrepreneurs and I do workshops, if you don't capture their attention right away, you have a much lower probability of them investing in you, connecting you with their networks, with their resources, understanding what key activities drive your company's growth. This may seem like a stretch. How can you tell that from a very simple sentence? When you dig deeper into that sentence, for example, we offer the best shave for a few bucks. You understand what you do is your product. It may not be the best in quality, but it's good quality. It's, for example, a relatively low price to the competition. So in that sense, you know that your activities are being cost efficient, and being good. You don't have to be great, you have to be good. Effectively articulate your mission to potential partners, as we will learn later. When you understand the product or service that you offer, you will also come to understand that you won't do all the activities that are required for you to deliver that service, unless you're one of the large corporations like Amazon, Facebook, General Electric, that have a pretty big market share of the ecosystem, but also have a big footprint, a physical footprint. So they have logistics, they have huge legal departments, they have finance and accounting departments. And then the last one, formulate your business strategy. It kind of connects with the activity ones. If again, you know what it is that you're trying to do, you simplify it the most you can, it will allow you to not only plan in terms of activities, operations, also in terms of fundraising. For example, if you know what are the activities that you need to do, let's say that, and once you understand activity, let's say you know that it will not generate cash flow for a long time, then, for example, you can take one step back and say, okay, then maybe I need equity to finance this, as opposed to debt. And I'm going a little deeper from these, but once we do the exercises, it'll make a little more sense. So I want to transition you guys. How many of you have heard about the business model canvas? Perfect. So this is a little more comprehensive than the unique value proposition, but the unique value proposition is a component of it. So we're going to do an exercise of this, and then we're going to jump into that. All right, so this is the business model canvas. Usually it's applied and used by tech businesses, but I definitely think that it's very useful for traditional entities. So that is, all right, so there's an example right here. Okay, so for example, in this example, as we will do an exercise in a little bit, you always start from either the value proposition or the customer segment. I like to start from the customer segment. I think everything stems from your understanding of the consumer. And it doesn't have to be only one consumer. Especially when you have a diversified company, you can target you can have different products or services that target different individuals. So for example, what is Amazon's business proposition? Convenience, price, and vast selection. To me, those are the main three. And that's why you've seen, Amazon started as a book seller, really. And then when they realized that they were offering the convenience of people not having to leave their home, that's when they really expanded their marketplace. They started doing movies, started doing books, everything you can imagine. When they did that, they got economics of scale. So the prices dropped, and they started getting more and more competition. So they know who their consumer is. They know what their value proposition is. Once the product, the consumer has bought it more and more, they establish a customer relationship. For example, myself, I don't even like using eBay. I don't like that format of bidding. I like the convenience of Amazon, the price. So once you have that built, how do you get your product to your consumer? So what's explained in that video. The key activities, production and design, and merchandising. Primarily merchandising, because Amazon doesn't make their own products. They're a marketplace. But the main ones, and the ones that definitely apply to any kind of business, are customer segment, value proposition, key activities, key resources. In this sense, they could be your understanding of the law, your connections within the community, your connection with judges, your connection with courts, and then these two. I mean, these two are absolutely crucial to any kind of for-profit entity or not-for-profit as well. You need to understand on the revenue stream, that's pretty much how do you make money. From my limited understanding of the field, I know that in legal practices, as you said, contingency could be one. That's how you can get paid. If you win the case, then whatever the client gets, you get a percentage of that. It could be hourly, right? I think that's the main one, and they could be also by a transactional or just fee. One, you pay up front, and then you do the work however long it takes. So those are the ways in which you can get revenue coming into the business. Then your cost structure. You have to think about what are the things that you will have to pay regardless of whether or not you make money. And that could be either a fixed cost or a variable cost. On the fixed cost, it could be your rent or your mortgage. It could be, let's say that you need subscriptions to legal articles on a monthly basis. Those would be your fixed costs. And then you also have your variable cost. It could be acquisition costs. How do you get new clients? Do you go to networking events? Do you pay for those? Do you get referrals paid by a business provider, etc., etc.? So what we'll do next is a little exercise. I brought you guys this sheet, and keep in mind that you don't have to complete all the segments for your business. Say 10 minutes. Since we have such a small group, we'll each do a very, very brief presentation. Yeah, of course. There's more here. So as I mentioned, I definitely want you guys to start from either the customer segment or the value proposition, and then branch out however you see fit. For example, ideally, if you start in the customer, or even if you arrive there secondarily, you want to have an early adopter. That is, who is the group of individuals or entities or customer segment that feels the pain that you're providing a solution for most acutely. So for example, let's say that you're providing, and I'm going to provide a few business examples, pregnant couples. Let's say that you're providing a box of lotions and products for parents, and that changes every month according to how the parents' need adjust. And who will be your early adopter? First-time parents that know nothing about pregnancy and that are very scared about the process. Immigrants, for example, in this case, let's say that you're trying to fight an unjust regulation like the travel ban. Your early adopter would be immigrants from those countries. Economic development institution, for example, let's say you're targeting any and all institutions that work with low to moderate income individuals, but you want to target your services to early stage enterprise incubators because you think that's when entrepreneurs need the most help. So from there, start. And again, if you can think of some boxes to populate, that's completely fine. The point of the exercise is not to have a complete sheet. It's just to help you understand what are the gaps in your understanding of your business. And as you complete this sheet, envision the business at its full potential. Not what it is right now, but what you would like it to be in 5 or 10 years.
Can we go back to the previous?
Yeah, of course. Here? Yeah. Okay. I'll leave that up.
So this customer segment, that's the customer you're trying to target?
Correct. And it could be several within there. So in the Amazon example, individual leverage and group leverage, that would be individuals, that would be you, me, consuming. Whereas you also have corporations or entities that use Amazon for their fulfillment. I think that's what they mean when they say group leverage. And then you also have global conglomerates that use it as a fulfillment. So you have 3 big and distinct groups. And Amazon has very tailored services for each one. On the revenue stream, if you can, indicate not just what is, here they've entered the product. I would like you to say, the payment method. When we discuss contingency, fee, transaction. All right, so creating a unique value proposition. So most of you guys from my very readable notes, you guys, instead of crafting a sentence like at the beginning, you guys did, for example, clarity, cost effectiveness, ease of understanding, being on demand. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be a sentence. Ideally, it is for when you put on your website or not, but for the point of this exercise, that was absolutely what we needed. What I did here is I tried to write it in 3 ways. And I think this one might be the one that applies most to you guys. But how do you craft a unique value proposition? So it could be end user driven, where let's say that you say, I want to help immigrants. So you start from there. And it could be, I want to help them in whatever thing they need legal, but if you have a skill set that you are a specialist in, you want to say, okay, I want to help them in immigration, to getting a visa, or for divorces, as you were saying. And then after that, you ideate a product or service. In this case, it would be a service. Activity driven, this could be for when you don't have someone in mind that you want to help ideally, but you know what you're good at. So you start from there. Let's say it could be, it could be that you're good at, Jason, what is it? You do employment law, right? So your employment law, as you said, I'm good at that. The pain point is people who need it. You're very broad. And then narrow down user, in your case, as you said, poor people that have been fired. So in your case, it stems from what you're good at or what you want to do. And then mission driven, when you're committed to a goal. In this case, it could be expanding affordable legal services, explain your theory of change. This is more tied to social enterprise. But the important thing in this one is that you start from a more macro point. What is the change that you want to see? Theory of change. How will you do that? It could be helping your clients enter the U.S. It could be helping your clients lower the cost of providing benefits for their LMI employees. And then after you explain that, it could be who is it that needs that service. So there's 3 different ways to craft it, or pretty much how to start creating this the model canvas. And the components: activity, delivery, target. So activity, delivery, target. Let me go back to these. Activity, delivery, target. So a perfect unique value proposition touches upon the 3: activity, delivery, target. So this one, the first one, activity, delivery, target. You have the non-accountant. Activity, the beginning. It doesn't explain the delivery. A great shave for a few bucks a month. It's the activity, and implicitly, the target is people that want to save money and don't want the best product. They're worried about the cost. We help the world's biggest brand scale level WordPress. Again, you have here target and activity. Weebly, the easiest way to make a service, to make a website, you have delivery and activity. You don't have target here. It's for anyone implicitly that wants to create a website. Tortuga backpacks. This is a combination of activity and delivery, with the implication that it's a very general product. Everyone needs backpacks. Then send better email, activity, delivery. You're sending email in a better way. I don't think any of these touches upon the 3. An ideal value proposition touches upon the 3. So those 3 elements are what you should think about when you're crafting yours, combined with how do you craft it and the components. The next exercise we're going to do, and it's actually the last, this is actually your unique value proposition canvas. So for example, for the small business accounting services for the non-accountant, let me kind of walk you guys through these. So the main part of this is both the product and services on the left side and the customer jobs. And customer jobs can be, again, it could be a problem you're solving, or it could be an activity you're helping them accomplish. It could be functional, social, or emotional. It could be an issue you're trying to solve. It could be a task they're trying to perform, or a need you're trying to satisfy. On the pain side, it could be the costs that they're trying to minimize. It could be the negative emotions that they're trying to eliminate, or it could be the risks that they're trying to mitigate. And then on the gains, functional utility, again, cost savings, or it could be a social gain. So what I want you guys to do is, and for this one, we're just going to take 3 minutes, is kind of populate this with what you envision your ideal business to be. And just to give you an example, to make it, specific, for the small business accounting that we did before, the small business account for the non-accountant, on the customer jobs, it would be understanding your business financials, staying within budget, stay current on financial requirements. So the customer jobs are the things that your service or your product are helping your client do or avoid. And then the gains and the pains are the things that you're helping them do or helping them avoid. So, for example, the gain would be preventing them from hiring an accountant, because that could be very expensive, and it ties to the fact that they want to minimize costs. And the pain, let's say, it is they don't understand accounting. Clearly, they're a non-accountant. So you're going to list a few things that your clients are feeling or trying to accomplish over there, and then the positive things they want to accomplish, the negative things they want to avoid. And ideally, you list your products and services here. It could be, in your case, it might just be, it's a service, as Keith was saying, it could be divorce settlement, immigration law, listed by that. And there's activities here that tie directly to the gain. So for example, to the gain over here of avoiding hiring an accountant, the product becomes your bookkeeper. So you don't need an accountant. Let's say over here for the pain, you have doesn't understand accounting. The pain reliever, no accounting knowledge needed because the product explains it to you. So what we're trying to do here is just focus on the right and the left. You know, what are the things that your client wants to accomplish? And again, that stems from you understanding who your client is, and then what your product and service is. Yeah, so I think, you know, kind of like the goal of this exercise, you know, in an ideal world would be, you know, you understand that the client, let's say Jason's case, you know, the client had pain, very limited income. You would list that there. You would also list, perhaps, you know, they don't have a full understanding of the reality around them. As you were saying, you know, they're kind of crazy. The gains would be, you know, it could be the potential gains. It could be either getting compensated for work that they did and didn't get reimbursed. It's primarily really the gain. So let's say it was the lack of income. So at the end of the exercise, you look at the paper and you say, okay, so they are struggling with income, they're struggling with the process itself. You can say, okay, so I'm going to offer a solution for the problem they face in a cost-effective, simple way. So that's kind of like the goal of the exercise.